Hi, I'm Miss Ulrich, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to solve for y to put it into y equals mx plus b form for a linear equation. So when you're looking at graphing lines, we have to have our equations in a certain format, and you'll do this every time we're talking about any type of function. First of all, the format that it has to be in then is y equals mx plus b. Where y and x are variables and m and b are usually going to be changed to numbers, and they both represent something within the situation that we will talk about in the upcoming weeks. So first of all, remember y could also be written as f of x, so you'll also see f of x equals mx plus b. Now ultimately what we want to do is we want to get the y on one side by itself and then everything else on the other side. So we're going to look at several problems today where we're going to do just this. So as we go through this today, there's certain steps that you're going to perform every single time. This is kind of like solving for a variable in an equation. Ultimately, you want to get the y on one side and everything else on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and start by drawing the line just like I was doing when I was solving for just one variable. Just this time we happen to have two variables in the equation. So remember, I want to get this y by itself. Now right now we have a positive y. This means that it's a positive 1y in front of it, and I need to move everything else away from that. So the first thing you're going to notice is that we have this negative 3x on the side with the y. So I'm going to first move this by doing the opposite operation. So step one is to add or subtract the x term. In this case, because it was a negative 3x, I'm going to move it by adding the 3x to both sides. So we're going to say here plus 3x on this side, as well as plus 3x on this side. Now notice when I combine it on the other side, I don't put it right underneath that negative 10. The reason for that is because those terms do not go together. The negative 10 does not have an x with it. Therefore, I cannot combine it with the 3x. So going back to the left side, this is going to cancel out. So let's bring down the positive 1y. So we have 1y equals, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this down just as is. So step two is to bring everything down. So we have positive 1y equals, and we have a positive 3x, but I'm not going to bring the positive sign down, and then minus 10. Now notice that when I brought it down, I actually brought this 3x down in the front. That's the proper way to write it. We want to keep our x in the front. That way when we get to graphing, it'll be a little bit more organized. Now the last step is to divide everything by the number in front of y. So in this case, we actually have a positive 1y, and I could divide everything by that 1, but what happens here is nothing actually changes. So notice what it looks like when I divide everything by 1. That means that 1 divided by 1 is really just 1. So I'm going to bring down my y equals 3 divided by 1 is still 3, so I'm going to bring down the 3x. And then negative 10 divided by 1 is still a negative 10. So the final answer here in y equals form, as we refer to it as, is y equals 3x minus 10. All right, let's try this one following the same steps. So here we have the equation 2x plus 2y equals 16. So the first thing, I'm solving this just like I would solve any other equation for a variable. I just happen to have two variables here. So the first step, I'm going to add or subtract the x term. So that x term is right here with this 2x. So I'm going to start by saying minus 2x from this side, as well as minus 2x from this side. And again, notice how I don't put it right underneath the 16, simply because those are not like terms, and I'm not going to combine them. So second step, this is going to cancel out. I'm going to bring down this 2y, so I have 2y equals, and again, when I bring this down, I'm going to go ahead and bring that 2x down in the front. Notice it is a negative, so I'm going to keep that negative sign with it. So I have negative 2x, and then I'm going to bring down this 16. It is a positive 16, just because there's not a negative sign in front of it. It's understood that it's a positive. So I have now 2y equals negative 2x plus 16. Now step 3 is to divide everything by the number in front of y. Well, notice here I have a 2 in front of the y, so in order to get rid of that 2, I'm going to divide everything in the equation by that 2. And we're going to bring down what's left over here. So we have 2 divided by 2. This part goes away, so I'm going to bring down y equals Negative 2 divided by 2, that's going to cancel out to be a negative 1x. And then I have a positive 16 divided by 2, which is going to leave me with a positive 8. So in all, this is our final answer in y equals form. Y equals negative 1x plus 8. Notice I could also write this as y equals negative x instead of having to put the 1 there and then plus 8. It means the same thing. All right, let's try another one here. So here we have 6x minus 3y equals negative 12. So again, I'm going to go ahead and draw that line just as I would if any other problem. I have now to do my first step. So the first step is to add or subtract the x term. And the x term is right here with this 6x. Now it is a positive 6x again because there's no negative sign in front of it, so it's understood to be a positive. So to move it from one side to the other, I'm going to subtract it. I'm going to say minus 6x from both sides. So we have minus 6x, and again I don't put it with that negative 12 simply because those terms do not combine. So now let's combine what we do have. Second step, bring everything down. So I'm going to bring down a negative 3y. Biggest mistake I see people make is they lose their negative signs. Do not lose your negative sign. This comes down exactly as we see it. So negative 3y equals, and again, I'm going to bring that x to the front, that x term, so we have negative 6x, and then I'm going to bring down that negative 12, so this is minus 12. Okay, so we have negative 3y equals negative 6x minus 12. Now for the last step where I'm going to divide everything by the number in front of y. So I'm going to divide everything by that negative 3, and again, don't forget to keep that negative sign with it. That is changing a lot here in the problem. So in order to get our final answer here, we have negative 3 divided by negative 3. Obviously, again, that's going to cancel out. So I'm left with y equals, which is the goal. We have now negative 6 divided by negative 3. First of all, negative divided by negative is going to make this a positive. And 6 divided by 3 is going to give us 2. So we have 2x. And then now negative 12 divided by negative 3. Again, that's a positive. And 12 over 3 is a 4. So our final answer here, y equals 2x plus 4. All right, let's try this one again. So we have negative 8x minus 4y equals 24. So again, I'm solving for the y value here. I want to get the y value by itself. So I'm going to follow these steps. So step 1, we're going to add or subtract the x term. So in that case, this x term here is the number that is with the x. That's a negative 8x in this situation. And I do that by doing the opposite operation. So because this is a negative 8x, I'm going to get rid of it by adding 8x to both sides. And remember, when I add it, I'm not combining it with that 24 because, again, those are not like terms. They do not go together. So let's cancel and bring down what we have. So negative 8x plus 8x is going to cancel. We have then negative 4y, and again, do not lose that negative sign, equals, I'm going to bring that x term to the front, so we have a positive 8x. I'm going to go ahead and drop the positive sign. I know it's an 8x. And then it's a plus 24 again because there's not a negative sign with it. We know it's a positive 24. Okay, so we have negative 4y equals 8x plus 24. Now, in order to do step 3 to find the actual value of y, we're going to divide everything by the number in front of y. So we're going to divide everything here by a negative 4. And again, keep that negative sign with it. So final answer here, negative 4 divided by negative 4 is going to cancel. So we have y equals 8 divided by negative 4. That's going to give me a negative 2x. And then 24 divided by negative 4 is going to give me a negative 6. So final answer here, we would have y equals negative 2x minus 6. All right, let's look at some now that don't always end up in such pretty whole numbers. So here in number 5, we have negative 3x plus 5y equals 15. So again, I'm still solving for y. I want to get the y value by itself. I'm going to follow the same steps. So we have to first start by adding or subtracting the x term, doing the opposite operation. So here my x term is a negative 3x. In order to get rid of that negative 3x, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And again, when I combine it on the other side, I don't combine it with the 15. Instead, it comes down separately. So let's go ahead and bring down what we have. We have a positive 5y that's going to drop down, equals, and again, I'm going to bring that 3x to the front, so we have 3x, And then I'm going to add the 15. And again, that's a positive 15 simply because it doesn't have a negative sign in front of it. So second step is done. We have 5y equals 3x plus 15. Now I want to divide everything in step 3 by the number in front of y, which in this case we have a 5. So I'm going to divide everything by that 5 that I have there. Okay, so when I bring it down, the final answer down, we have 5 divided by 5, which of course is going to cancel out. So this is going to give me y equals, and here's where it doesn't end so pretty. We have 3 divided by 5. Well, 3 divided by 5 is not going to divide into a whole number, so we leave it as a fraction. Do not convert it into a decimal. Instead, reduce if possible, which in this case it's not. So we're going to leave it as 3/5 x, and that's it. Now, we are going to divide 15 divided by 5. That was going to give me an answer of a positive 3. So the answer here is then y equals 3/5 x plus 3. All right, let's check out this last one here to give you an idea of, again, what happens when it's not always whole numbers. So again, we're solving for y, which means we're going to follow our steps here. And we're going to start by either adding or subtracting the x term. So our x term here is this positive 10x. So in order to get rid of it, I'm going to have to subtract 10x from both sides. So let's start there. So 10x minus 10x is obviously going to cancel out. I'm going to go ahead and bring down that negative 8y equals, and then again, this comes down separately. We don't combine that whole number in the variable. So I'm going to bring down negative 10x and then minus 32. Okay, third step now to divide everything by the number in front of y. So this time the number in front of y is a negative 8. So I'm going to divide everything by that negative 8 there in front of the y. And we're going to see what happens when we cancel it out. So negative 8 divided by negative 8 obviously goes away. So I'm left with y equals. Now here's where it's not, again, going to divide into a nice whole number. We have negative 10 divided by negative 8. I'm going to write that over here. First of all, I do know it's going to be a positive. And it's not going to divide evenly to a whole number, but we can reduce it. We can decrease both of these by dividing them by 2. And when I do that, when I divide both of them by 2, I'm left with 5 over 4. And again, that's taking half of each one. 10 divided by 2 is 8, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So really, I'm left with 5 over 4x. And again, I don't want to see decimals here or mixed numbers. I just want it left as 5/4 x. And then now, negative 32 divided by negative 8 is going to be a positive 4. So the answer here we have y equals 5/4 x plus 4. And that would be the final answer for this one. I hope that helps you to understand how to solve for y. Keep in mind that anytime you're using the calculator to find an equation or a graph based on a table, you will have to put it into y equals mx plus b form first when we're talking about linear equations. Rewatch the video if you need further clarification, and make sure you ask questions in class. I'll see you next time.